We do appreciate all of you being with us on a July afternoon. I know that many of the university community are either traveling, on vacation, or in class, or various other activities, so we're very pleased to see so many of you here. When the process began in April, before we employed Jed Hughes from Korn Ferry to be our executive consultant, I checked around to a number of places and individuals that I knew that knew a lot of athletic directors and people in intercollegiate athletics. And it's really interesting that the very first name I had submitted to me by somebody who knows many athletic directors was Rick Hart. Then I called two commissioners and asked them to send me a list of anywhere from 2 to 3 or 4 individuals, and on both of those lists was Rick Hart. Then we had Brad Cheeves make a couple of calls to individuals that he knew around, and the one that he had told me he was going to call came back with only one name, and that name was Rick Hart. And then we hired Jed Hughes, and he had him on his list. And so as a part of all this, there were dozens of individuals nominated. Our consultant went through the list and basically culled out the names to about 30-something and then presented those. And out of that group came a sub-list, and then either through airport interviews with a number of individuals or other interviews with smaller select groups, we interviewed 8 individuals. And so out of that, those 8 interviews then, it was the consensus that we wanted Rick Hart to come to campus and to have an opportunity to meet a number of people and have him and his family visit with us. And speaking of family, I'd like to introduce them here. Gail, they're sitting by Gail. First is his wife Allison, and then son Trevor, and then daughter Caroline. Would you three please stand? Rising 7th grader and 3rd grader, and Trevor's got the right cap on already. So we appreciate very much their being here. I think most of you know, you've seen in the statements and releases the basic background that Rick Hart has. He is a Chapel Hill graduate in 1994, and then he worked there for a while, and then at East Carolina, our Conference USA colleague, and then went to the University of Oklahoma in 1999 and quickly moved up to a senior associate AD in charge of marketing, advertising, fundraising, all of the external affairs of the University of Oklahoma. And then moved on to UT Chattanooga, where he's been the AD then since 2006. I think most of you also know that he has an unusual pedigree, and that I don't know of any other person who has 3 generations of athletic administrators in his family, with his granddad having been an AD and also commissioner of the Southern Conference, which UT Chattanooga is now in, and his dad, Dave Hart, who's the AD at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and I first met him when he was at Florida State. And so as a result, if there's anybody who had it in their blood to be in athletics administration, it would be Rick Hart. I think all of you have seen the statements of the incredible progress that Chattanooga made, that the various problems that existed there, and that he basically turned those around and helped develop a very successful program. We have absolutely no doubt that he'll be a great addition to the SMU family, and that their family will also be great additions to SMU and the Park Cities and Greater Dallas. And so without further ado, Rick Hart, Athletic Director of SMU.